So if you're watching this video, you're probably trying to fundraise. You're trying many, many things, you have traction, you're reaching out to investor, getting intros, yet you still don't have money in the bank, right? And it feels frustrating because you're doing all the right things. I have helped raise over 150 million, actually more now, 167 million. We just helped start an AI startup uh, infrastructure for big companies to use AI, and it just raised 17 million. And they had that problem, and now we solved that working together. And I want to show the exact framework that I go with my client to help them create the environment that VC look at, want to see when before they invest in. So there's six crucial elements, and I'm gonna not to tell you for like, oh, the fifth one is very important. No, they're all fucking important, and you all need to apply them very, very carefully. So without further introduction, let's get started. So the first thing that you need to make super fucking clear is how much are you raising, right? Like how much is I raising? But that number is important, but it's not. It cannot be a random number throw just like that. Oh, last round was X month ago, and now we need to raise. No, like this is the final ask. It needs to be backed with the entire strategy. The amount that you're raising should be the conclusion of a logical and planned vote. And so the first step to plan that, right? So this is kind of the final step. And usually it's put at the end of the pitch deck, but really it's the most important bit, right? And what should drive your desire to raise is what objective do you want to reach, right? And let me just write it here. What's the objective? The objective. And this shouldn't be random neither. There's like you, depending on the round that you are, and I'll make the assumption that you're a seed round because this is really where we've worked the most and we're the best at. It's like there's a clear defined thing that when you're trying to raise your seed, you should aim for. Let me bring a graph just to make it clear. So this is what you should look at, right? Like if right now you are in pre-seed, you should have that level, and we'll speak a bit about traction after, but you should have that traction. But then what your objective should be to become a seed company that has the potential to become a Series A company, right? And that's the main thing. And so it should be clear on your ask, like yes, how much you're raising, but what are you gonna do with that money? And that those two things should merge. Like, oh yeah, they need some cash because boom, in the balance, they want to reach that objective. And usually that objective is the amount of money that you will generate in 18 months after you raise, because 18 months after you raise, as we can see on this graph, which shows the amount of time that it takes to raise from seed to Series A. Well, this is a bit before, but anyway, bottom line is that after your pre-seed, when you raise your seed, there should be a certain amount of time until you're ready to raise your next round. Anyway, actually that's the right number, right? Because it's seed to Series A, right? So it should take you about 2 to 3 years to get there, right? So your objective is after you raise your seed, you should take 2 3 years to raise Series A, and to raise Series A, you need to reach certain objective that I just showed here, right? You should reach this, and usually the watermark is 1 million in AR. Now, that's point number one. The number you're raising should be crystal clear and backed by a strong objective, and that objective should be to be able to raise the next round in 18 months. And to raise your next round in 18 months, you need to be shaped in a certain way, which is have a certain level of revenue. But then now the next logical question is how you prove that you're going to reach that objective. And that's point number two. You sell with existing strategies, so your outreach, your marketing, your sales, you just do more of what you do, or you can also do some new stuff. And based on what you decide here, you'll have to answer different question. If it's existing strategy, you'll have to prove, and this is where the tricky question come from, right? Uh, can you existing marketing strategy scale? Yes or no? How? Why? If you want to do new stuff, how do you know that this is gonna work? Like, what's your proof, right? And we'll go about this in the next point. So we'll explain, how to answer those next points in the next point. And so you can also sell to old customer, or here I should say current customer, and then here it means that you can either sell more of what you do, or sell new stuff. And again, this will trigger hoop and hoop, and this will trigger another avalanche of question. But you should have that in mind, because and this is the point two. And the point two is that your objective is to create new revenue, and you need to be very conscious of how you're going to generate that revenue. Yes, your product is interesting, your problem, the solution, this is very crucial. But once you pass that, and this is usually where the company struggles, it's like, yes, they struggle, they suck at explaining the problem and solution. But even when they pass, it's like, okay, like now I understand there's a problem, there's a solution, but operationally, how exactly are you going to make it happen? And this is where it breaks. And so you should be ready to answer those questions. You want to sell to current customers, selling more of your stuff? How do you know they'd be interested about your new offering? What's your proof point? And then here, can your product scale? Can you actually sell to more people? And this is where here the third point happened. And this is where I'm leaving a bit of space here for the how do you call that? The suspense. It's the same word in French, I should know. The suspense here, which is the question mark, and the question mark is it's a nice question mark. It's the traction, right? And this is what the traction is, and this is the main thing about your startup. And this is why I call that the proof system, is that your traction should be considered as a proof to back the fact that you can reach your objective. And the way you answer those questions is with some traction. And this is why traction is not equal every time. So existing strategy, like we're going to get more customers of existing strategy. And we have our existing strategy, I brought it X. And we already tested to increase it by 20% and it works. Like we've increased it in the past and it works. And look at what kind of result that we have. We believe we can keep doing that. Are you convinced? Yeah, sure. Now, attraction that is a bit less good is like, yeah, we tested that new initiative, but it's just the beginning. Or the worst traction is the worst thing you can have in your go-to-market strategy. So like, yeah, we'll do social media and advertisements. I'm like, yeah, but that's not traction. That's just ideas, right? And that's the difference between the world of ideas and the world of traction. One can actually be used as a proof, the other not. Same things apply here. And so this is how you should think about this is what you should think about using your traction for, and what is traction. So for example, if you want to say like we want to sell to new customers, we never done this before, but we've interviewed 300%. Yeah, that gives me the confidence that you have an idea of what could work in that instance. Now, once you have all of this, we go to point four, and this is probably the most important, and it directly links with this. It is the ask. It is yes. But why I haven't mentioned the ask here at the beginning, right? And the reason I didn't is that this is what you have in the ask. Like we want to grow our product so it's more scalable. We want to grow our sales initiatives, so we invest more in sales. We want to test some new stuff, so we hiring an HR, not an HR, a sales guy that worked in a company that is similar industry, blah blah blah. It's like what you put here is what what you put in your ask with what will enable you to reach your objective, and the amount of money that you raise is indeed what you'll need to raise, what you'll need to achieve your objective. And that's why that's at the end. And that's why it's really important when you're fundraising to like and that kind of answer the question on do you need do you need financials when you're fundraising, even at the seed stage? Fuck yeah. Like financials, like how much money, how are you going to use the money? And you need to be clear, right? And it's okay not to know exactly. You can pivot, you can blah blah blah, but at least, hey, let's have something tangible. Let's convince people that we did our homework. And then that's where it linked to the final part. And this is kind of on its own somehow, right? And then, and this is true the earlier you go, and it's true every time. It's like who you are as a founder. What have you done? And this is for, the last drawing of mine. Boom, boom. This is the thing that matters the most. Not the most. Like what type of founder you are. And I've seen so many times, great company, great idea attraction, but I failed because the founder didn't present themselves correctly. And so this is what I'm going to present in my next video, because it's the whole chapters. How can you present yourself as a founder who makes the difference, as a founder that convince investor? What are the traits who you should be as a founder to convince investor? That's it. I'll see you in the next video right here. Thank you very much. Ciao, ciao.